The way you were raised is quietly shaping every decision you make as an adult right now. And if you are a parent, the way you show up for your kids today is writing the story of who they become tomorrow. So in the next 5 minutes, we are breaking down 5 distinct parenting styles, what they look like in real life, and the lasting effects they have on children as they grow up. Let's get into it. Style number 1 is authoritative parenting. This is the one researchers and psychologists consistently point to as the gold standard. Why? Because it strikes a balance that most other styles miss entirely. Authoritative parents set clear boundaries and high expectations, but they do not stop there. They explain the reasoning behind the rules. They have actual conversations with their kids. They listen. They validate feelings while still holding the line. Children who grow up in this environment tend to be emotionally grounded, confident in their own judgment, and genuinely good at solving problems. They do not just follow rules blindly because they understand why those rules exist in the first place. That understanding becomes a life skill. Style number 2 is permissive parenting. Picture a parent whose default answer is yes. These households are full of warmth and love, and that part is genuinely beautiful, but the structure is almost completely missing. Permissive parents hate conflict. They avoid saying no because they want their child to be happy. The unintended consequence, though, is that kids raised this way often hit the real world completely unprepared. They struggle when things do not go their way. They have a harder time respecting boundaries set by others, whether that is a teacher, a boss, or a partner. The love was always there. The guidance just was not. Style number 3 is authoritarian parenting. This one often gets confused with authoritative, but these two are very different. Authoritarian parenting is all about control. Rules are absolute. Obedience is expected without question. Explanations are rarely given because the parent does not feel they owe one. This style might produce kids who behave well on the surface, but research consistently shows that underneath, many of these children carry anxiety, low self-worth, and a fragile sense of identity. When you are never allowed to question, you never learn how to think for yourself. Some of these kids eventually push back hard in adolescence. Others shrink inward. Neither outcome is what any parent actually wants. Style number 4 is helicopter parenting, also called over-involved parenting. These parents love deeply and fiercely, but that love becomes a kind of cage. They solve every problem before their child even has the chance to try. They monitor every friendship, every grade, every decision. The result? Kids who look polished and accomplished from the outside but are quietly terrified of failure on the inside. When you have never been allowed to fall, you have no idea how to get back up. These children often enter adulthood with serious anxiety and a paralyzing fear of making the wrong choice because nobody ever let them practice making choices safely. Style number 5 is neglectful parenting, and this one carries the heaviest weight. This is not just about physical absence. Neglectful parenting can happen in a full house. It is emotional unavailability. It is a child learning very early that their feelings, their needs, and their presence simply do not register as important. These children may have food on the table and clothes on their back, but they grow up lacking the emotional scaffolding every human being needs. The research here is sobering. Higher rates of depression, difficulty forming secure attachments, lower academic achievement, and a tendency toward risky behavior later in life. The wound here runs deep precisely because it is invisible. Here is the thing though, understanding these styles is not about judging your parents or spiraling into guilt about your own. It is about awareness. Because once you can see the pattern, you can choose to change it. Most parents fall somewhere between these styles depending on the day, the stress level, or the situation. No one parent is purely one thing. But the direction you lean matters enormously over time. If you grew up under one of the harder styles, that does not define you. It explains some things, but it does not predict your future. And if you are a parent right now, even small shifts toward more warmth, more explanation, more emotional availability can genuinely redirect the trajectory of your child's life. So which of these 5 styles sounds most like the household you grew up in? Drop it in the comments. And if this kind of psychology and human behavior content speaks to you, hit subscribe because we do this every single week. I've linked a resource in the description that I think you'll find really helpful.